Welcome to the YouTube Sports Network. This is what I would consider a side quest for the younger generation. This is when I veer off from my original topic of talking about, which I'm now blocking, which is actually strange that you can see, and I didn't intend for this, the names actually are not even cut off. You can see them just straight up. And even the word outfielders is not. I swear I had nothing to do with this other than God himself. He put me in this position to be able to line this way. That's crazy. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I got to get to this. This list I got to get to. This is I feel like it's not the second tier. It's not, but I guess it's the second tier. I hate to even say that. I don't know why. Now that I'm getting, I'm like, I guess I don't know what it is. Getting older. I don't want to say it's getting older. Now I'm just like, I don't even know. Is it? It doesn't even. I'm not trying to break it down as simply as like getting older. You can theoretically say that, but it's not really what I'm. Maybe the reasoning is just like to say that these are first tier players. These are second tier. Like that. These are better than them. Well, it's like they are. Well, shit. It's not true. It's not true. It's not like they're better than them. I take that back. I think what I'm trying to say is I'm really harping on this. I guess I really give a lot of emphasis on people's value, like not to discount anybody. Well, it runs deep here, I guess, on the YouTube Sports Network. We talk sports, and sometimes we can't help it. Life takes on it. Life it takes on a life of its own. There you go. By talking about life. This is the side quest that I want to talk about. That's Brian Reynolds, and that is Adolis Garcia and Jonah Heim. I sent the text to a good friend of mine who's a Pirates fan, and I said to him, hey, the Texas Rangers are actually shopping Adolis Garcia and Jonah Heim. The Pirates, it would be smart if the Pirates tried to jump out, jump in, jump out. It would be smart if the Pirates were to actually execute a trade with the Texas Rangers and try to get these two guys from them, considering they're really not going to come at too high of a cost. Apparently, the arbitration estimation for Garcia is around $12 million. Jonah Heim, I think, was around 2 or maybe 6. I don't remember exactly the number. He's basically, you add it up, it's still less than $20 million. He says they have about $30 million to spend, I think he was getting at. Hey, you get 2 impact players right there for about $20 million. The thing is, you're going to have to trade for them. I mean, unless they're not, apparently they're shopping them, but if they don't, what? Now let's learn this together, because I'm still trying to ingrain this as a easy withdrawal and like quick recall of definition when I think of these, what I'm about to say. So if they're shopping him, and if they're not able to in these arbitration, that means they would what? Non-tender him? Tender them? Or could they designate him for assignment? I'm still trying to, even though I've been watching baseball, following baseball, and really following contracts for a while, and hearing these terms, it's almost like I still can't, on the quick of a draw, be able to tell you the definition exactly of what non-tender is or designated for assignment. Like, I know what they are, but if somebody asked me, maybe I could. But I think because I'm on camera, and for me to sit there and think about it, especially being aware that I'm on camera, it would just be a longer process than it needs to be or should be. Point is, these guys are getting shopped, apparently. Think the Pirates should get them. If they do decide to, designate them for assignment, that would mean that they have, 7 days or 5 days to either, trade him, send him to the minors, or release him, or let him become a free agent, something like that. So what's the downside of designating him for assignment then? Well, you don't get anything for them in trade, right? You don't get anything in value, so you basically let them go. I think if somebody picks them up on waivers, I'm not sure who gets the full contract, or if there was money left on a deal, I don't remember who gets the full contract. I think the claiming team, because unless it's like the waiver deadline, post-trade deadline in the regular season, all these like underrated, like you don't realize, but I remember watching, years ago, or not too long ago, but Manny Ramirez, all big star players are usually placed on waivers without you, unbeknownst to people, right? I believe. And I think it's basically a way that if the team claims them, it's like a salary dump. It's just interesting that I remember, if I remember correctly, Manny Ramirez, a lot of big names I've seen in the past. It might have been like the mid 2000s, like ESPN, when they showed you the full list of like they showed you those little tidbits. Now they bypass all that stuff, but they would show you a list of like names that have been placed on waivers. I'm pretty sure, and Mayer is one of them. I remember. So I think the claiming team would take on the contract. In this sense, I guess they just become a free agent. You sign them to whatever value you think you want them at, and basically maybe you might sign them to the value that they'd earn in arbitration. And now that you just got them because the team couldn't get anything for them, they just released them. So bear with me here, but what I'm getting at here is I think the Pirates should really get Garcia and Heim in trade. I mean, they've been Henry Davis. They drafted first overall. Hasn't really worked out quite yet for the Pirates, especially with the bat. He's not hitting. He played some outfield. Even the catching, he doesn't. Maybe he's getting better. I haven't watched maybe enough of him, but is he going to be Paul Skenes' personal catcher, or is he going to catch when Paul Skenes is pitching? Like, this is a big deal here. Hello, this is Paul Skenes here. This is Mr. Red Carpet walking by. Excuse us. Let him go. Let him pass. So, like, can Henry Davis catch him? I mean, obviously he didn't really deter him from winning anything because he fucking, excuse me, damn, that's it. He won he won. That's why it's not intended for kids, ladies and gentlemen. Every now and then, a random out of left field F-bomb might get dropped. And for those who didn't catch it, I just ratted myself out by telling you I just said one. Anyway, yeah, I did one. I did an F-bomb. I said an F-bomb. Pirates should look to get these guys. I don't know what to take in trade. I don't think too much considering that Garcia, had like a down season standards. And to his standards, he did. He had 19 homers and 75 RBIs in 135 games. He averaged around 31 homers and around 96 RBIs. So 30 and 95, 31 and 96 per season in the last 4 seasons before 2025. So 2021, 2, 3, and 4. For 4 straight seasons, he averaged about 30 and close to 100. So, and his OPS was a 109, so he was better than an average player. Which, in this case, I don't look at OPS. Some cases I do. But when you tell me that the guy's averaging 30 and 96, I don't care. 31 and 96. I mean, yeah, the average could be, if it can't be 190, because then I look at it sideways. Kind of like with Eugenio, I can't even say that guy's name. Suarez, forgive me. His Gino Suarez from the Mariners, now he's a free agent. He'll bat 200, maybe 218, maybe even 190, but he'll hit like 40 something. But even then, I'm like, not particularly great. But he's batting 240, he's average. So I mean, what I'm saying is he didn't have too great of a season. He had 28 doubles, all right, 58 runs, but he's had a down season. He's due for arbitration. He's a free agent in 2027. So after this season coming up, he signed a 2-year, $14 million contract for 2024 and 2025. So he averaged $7 million a year. Wow, I just looked and it was $824. Would you look at that? He averaged $7 million a year, which is honestly for 30, averaging 30 and 90, and you're only making $7 million a year. I don't care. The Pirates, to me, that's great counting stats. And he averages during that 4-year stretch about 152 games a year. So he played in 135 games this year, right? He plays in a lot of games. What's your best availability? What do they call your best ability? Is your availability? I can't pronounce. For some reason, I always struggle with that one. Your availability is very important, and he's there, and he's still slugging, and he is slugging, and he probably won't come at too high of a cost. I believe that if the Pirates were to trade for him, then they'd have him or sign him. If the Pirates either trade for him or they sign him, I was saying that I think the contract at that time, they should capitalize on his down season, I guess you can say. And he only made $7 million a year, so how much of a raise can you really think, considering he had a down season? He's going to arbitration. He made, $7 million. He's going to arbitration, so with those numbers, and after a down season, what is his contract? You still think where he's at in his career, more is obviously on its way. And what he's done in the past, he'll still do as far as his production. one down year doesn't mean you're going to write him off. So they're saying he's averaging, possibly he might get $12 million. So if I'm thinking $12 million on the open market, maybe the Pirates take advantage of that figure with he might average, and they sign him to a 4-year. I say they go all in, and they sign this slugger to a 4-year, I'd say 42, possibly 45. Will he take that? Will he take that contract? He signed for 2 years and $7 million. I mean, avoiding arbitration. These guys get robbed. I'm gonna be honest. These Spanish players, they get robbed. They should be making more money than they do. They need better representation or something, because they get robbed. There's no way this guy should be should have signed a 2-year, $14 million contract in arbitration. No shot. I would have just played in a 1 year, $12 million, and then the next year, 1 year, 12. I don't know. Whatever it is, I don't think I would have signed a 2-year and commit to 7. Either way, I think the Pirates should take advantage of it and get the 4 years, sign him to a 4-year, $42, $45 million a year. So the most will make about, what? How much is that? $12.5 a year? So guarantee him that figure. But guarantee him a lot, if he wants, I would entice him with that. Does he want it? I'm just saying, you're guaranteeing 4 years, you're guaranteeing him, basically what he should have made in 1 year, you're giving to him. Although if maybe he doesn't want that, maybe 3. But I'm saying I would try to get this figure from him. I would try to sign him to that. If you got to go 4 years, 50, a little bit more, I would do it. Even because there is a chance that maybe he doesn't return to the 30. I'm not saying there's always a chance for anything. I'm not saying he will, but I just think that it's worth a shot. I mean, they gave 90 games to, I think it's Alexander. Is his name Alexander? But Canario he was with the Cubs, and the Pirates got a hold of him. They gave him 90 games. He batted .218, and he hit 6 homers. No disrespect. They gave him 90 games, around 90 games, I think 87. Then you can bank, and you can spend a little money and try to get a guy that you try to envision in Canario, and a guy that actually does that. Is a big, strong guy, bigger and stronger than Canario, plays games, has a lot of production under his belt. In fact, like I said, 30. What does he have? 122 homers and 383 RBIs between a 4-year stretch prior to last season. So he nearly averaged, like I said, nearly 100 RBIs a year. This is a guy that's proven and is worth it if the Pirates can snag him and get him. And Jonah Heim, being that the catcher he is, he won a Gold Glove in 2023. He's a guy that's not going to strike out a lot. Doesn't hit for a lot of power. Doesn't hit a lot of doubles. Doesn't hit for a lot of average. But he can hit maybe in the teens, maybe mid-teens home runs, maybe better, maybe higher teens, maybe 20s. If the Pirates are able to get him in the same trade with the Texas Rangers for Garcia that I'm hypothetically proposing. But maybe in that, especially in that ballpark, where Pittsburgh plays, and that I think it's 310 down the line. It's a little high, but maybe he reaches another level. Maybe he reaches potential. Maybe there's another gear in his bat. But he's a Gold Glove winning, World Series winning catcher that still doesn't have a lot of baseball under his belt, but has enough to say that this guy's pretty good, and he has enough accolades for like a player that not many people are too aware of, I guess, around the league. For those, I guess you can say. You catch my drift? These two guys are the Pirates. They should try to be aggressive. This is my response to the Pirates, the Texas Rangers possibly shopping, or are rumored to be shopping Garcia and Jonah Heim. And real quick, I used up a lot of time on these two. Brian Reynolds, 2025 stats, right? That's how I wrote down. Pirates had fewest total bases in the major leagues. The Pirates had 1,882. Why is that important? I said, well, who has the most? The Yankees, 2,488. That's a difference of 606. 606. Look at that number. Good number. From what I know about this number. But that's a difference of 606. I mean, maybe that's not a good indication of, like, maybe the Yankees are crazy out there. But it just goes to show you the difference between the top. The team that has the most total bases, the team that has the fewest. The Pirates that's a lot. And the Pirates need to, I think this is what contributed to the Pirates, to Reynolds' season, where I'm going to give you those stats at least. He had 16 homers, 73 RBIs, and he had a 245 batting average, and he slugged 402. This is a guy who has a career 459 slugging. So he slugged 57 points below his average, career average, and his batting average is 245. His career batting average is 271. So quick math, what is that? 15, that's 5. Damn. 5 would be 250. Damn, that's crazy. That's 26. I'm thinking, damn, I'm really that bad and slow at math, but sometimes it's like, whoa, math, quick math on the spot, camera's rolling. Anyway, that's a difference of 26, right? So that's a difference of 26 points. So he hit 26 points below his average. So yeah, his batting average is one thing. But interestingly enough, he also had a low on base. Yeah, 318 compared to his 346 career average. What really stood out to me is that he had 38 doubles. I can't overlook that. I know he's had, I believe he had a 34 double season, and he averages 30. But 38 is noteworthy considering he had down numbers with home runs and RBIs and batting average and other numbers. But again, interesting, like kind of similar to Garcia, but the 4-year stretch before 2025, he averaged 20 home runs a season. He had 24, 27, 24, and 24. And he averaged about 81 RBIs per season. So about 24 homers, 81 RBIs. And a guy that's going to bat around 276 was that average during that 4-year stretch. So down season this year, and I'm going to attribute a lot of it to the Pirates just not having a lot of base runners. I think if they had more base runners, Reynolds' stats for sure, he would have had more than 73 RBIs. I mean, home runs doesn't matter if there's base runners or not. Maybe he does better. Maybe he hits better for more power when guys are on base for him. Those are metrics I haven't studied, but that's a theory now or something we could look into. But point is, Pirates didn't. The 16 home runs, yeah, it's down. But the RBIs are down. But the base runners, I'm not sure where the Pirates ranked in the last 4 seasons before the 2025 and how it affected Reynolds. But point is, this video is 17 minutes and 30 seconds. It was supposed to be like a 10-minute. Would you believe it? You just keep going. We're giving you information here. We're giving you good information here. These are side notes. These are side quests. I was thinking as I got engaged in some conversation and I was looking at some stats and something else. And the headline of these guys, I was like, oh crap, we got to talk about this real quick. Real quick is 17 minutes and 54 seconds. But here we go. Point is, more base runners. The Pirates need base runners. You know what? And probably these will go hand in hand. Can you imagine a lineup with Reynolds and Garcia? And even throw in Heim, when I was looking at his numbers, he should bat either 6th or 8th or 9th. But mostly, if he's not batting 6th, he should bat 8th, according to his numbers. Either way, more of a bottom and a lineup guy. Don't expect too much with the bat, but whatever. He doesn't strike out much. Doesn't have great, counting stats, I guess you can say. And that doesn't blow you away with the averages, but he does just enough to make him about an average or just above average player for what he provides, the intangibles, as they say, and what he's done. He's like, so I think this guy checks a couple boxes for the Pirates, and it inversely or in some way also impacts Reynolds in the point of there. Pirates would improve, and they need more, and separately than this separate than that, and this separate than this. Pirates overall, just I think the fewest total bases impacting Reynolds. Neil Cruz having a 200 batting average. I'm not sure, 202, 208. I don't remember what the number was, but a 200 average that needs to change. They need more base runners. They need a full season of Spencer Horwitz. They need to add some guys possibly. They need a full season of Nick Gonzalez. They need this. They need to try out the Billy Cook kid. I think he's like about 27. Who I saw only played like 2 games, I think. Point is, they need base runners, and the Pirates need to improve in all effect. Because their pitching is really not that bad if you look at it. Look at their bullpen numbers. Not that bad. They need to win. They need to win now. They don't want the girl that gets away. It's like that girl that gets away or the guy that gets away for inversely. You can't let Skenes be better off with somebody else. You gotta win. You gotta win now with them. In some way as well. Thanks for listening to YouTube Sports Network. I'm out of here. Oh crap! Good call, Devin. Bloopers. There you go.